Alright, we're well familiar with these problems now. We know it's going to probably take a while. This 2 means I have x minus 2 as a factor. And the 7 means I have x minus 7 as a factor. Because that 7 goes with negative 7 to make 0, you understand. And then 3 minus the square root of 5 means that I also have 3 plus the square root of 5. Because if I have an irrational root, like this is irrational, 5 goes on forever. I can't say, whatever it is, 2.24 or something, blah, blah, blah. It goes on forever, it never quits. So it's irrational. So if I have an irrational root, I know I have its conjugate as well. So I'm going to say x, I always subtract the root. So 3 minus the square root of 5. And I also have, I've run out of room here, that's too bad. X minus 3 plus the square root of 5. Poor planning, sorry about that. Wish I could fix that some way. I'm going to multiply these together. And I'm going to get x squared. I got a minus 2x and a minus 7x outside and inside. That's going to give me minus 9x, negative 9x. And then negative 2 times negative 7, that's positive 14. Okay, so that part is nice. Those are the real roots. And they're all real. But then these over here are irrational, whereas the 2 and the 7 are clearly rational roots. 2 over 1, 7 over 1. Now let's think about this. Over here I have x squared, because x times x. And then, let's see, let me write this over here. And if I extend that negative sign, that becomes positive. And I'm getting rid of the inside parentheses. Negative 3 and negative square root of 5. So in my middle term, my positive square root of 5 and my negative square root of 5 are going to cancel each other out. Alright, so I'm going to get x squared, like I'm saying down here. I just went off to the side here. Now, again, these guys are going to cancel, but the negative 3's are both negative 3. So I have negative 3 times x and negative 3 times x, so that's negative 6x. And then a little bit further out, I have... I'm going to have to say 3 plus the square root of 5 and 3 minus the square root of 5 and see what happens here. No middle term, so I get 9 and then negative, because plus times negative is negative. Square root of 5 times square root of 5 is 5, so that's just 4. So I'm just going to get plus 4 here. And so now I'll go over here and write this. I have x squared minus 6x plus 4. And if we were trying to factor that, that'd be quite the task. We'd need the quadratic formula if we were going to factor. If somebody just gave us that, we'd say, I can't factor that in a nice way. I'll have to use the quadratic formula. And when I did, I would get these roots. I would get, 3 minus square root of 5 and 3 plus square root of 5. Once I went through all the business with that. So you can see that we're headed toward an x to the 4th. We're going to have a 4th degree polynomial here. We had 2 rational roots and 2 irrational roots. No imaginary roots this time. Okay, so anyway, let's go ahead and finish this off. X squared times x squared is x to the 4th. X squared times negative 6x is negative 6x to the 3rd. X squared times 4 is 4x squared. And now we'll go ahead and do negative 9x. Negative 9x times x squared is negative 9x to the 3rd. Negative 9 times negative 6x is going to give me a positive 54x squared. And then negative 9 times 4 is negative 36, and the x comes along. And finally, I have 14 times x squared, so that's going to be 14x squared. 14 times negative 6x, that's going to be, what is that, negative 84, I think, 8x. And then 14 times 4 is 56. Okay. I just want to make sure that 6 times 14. I don't trust myself when I'm talking out loud like this. It is 84. Okay. X to the fourth minus 15 x to the third. Let's see. When we add this up, they're all positive. I get 68, 72. Looks like 72 x squared. Minus, what is that, 120 x plus 56. Okay, so I add them all up, and that's my polynomial, a fourth degree. All my coefficients are rational. No strange business going on. A leading coefficient of 1, and it does have those given zeros, 2 rational and 2 irrational, and no imaginary. That means it hits in 4 places. It hits my x-axis in 4 places.